Take my lips and speak through them. Take our ears and hear through them. Take our hearts and set them on fire with love for thee. May I speak in the name of the living God.
Amen.
When I was first ordained in Brooklyn, it was my privilege to call on people in their homes who were shut in. One of these people was a lovely woman, now gone on to glory, named Mrs. Eiffel, a tall, impeccably dressed, elderly African-American woman, thin as a rail, with magnificent blue hair. I was 29 or 30 years old. I had never met anyone like her, and as I thought about it, I don't think I've met anyone like her since. She was warm, welcoming, and deeply religious. She was raised in the islands and described a life to me that revolved around church, not only all day and night on Sunday, but throughout the week. And that daily she and her siblings would sit at her father's feet as he read the Bible to them. And I thought, yikes! And I thought I grew up in the church. But she loved it. She loved it. She loved God, and God loved her, and she radiated that love to me. The prophet Habakkuk this morning says, the righteous shall live by their faith. And Mrs. Eiffel took that to heart. Every day I pray, increase my faith, she told me. Increase my faith. Until I finally said, I have never thought to pray, increase my faith. Oh, she gently exclaimed at the missed opportunity, if you pray just one prayer, let it be, increase my faith. And you will. St. Paul says, pray without ceasing, she said. And the other day, one morning, I woke up praying. I'd gone to bed praying. I woke up praying. And I said, I am praying without ceasing. The Lord has answered my prayer. He has increased my faith. And I made a move to remove my collar. I was like, you should be wearing this. And she went, no. The Lord has called you. The Lord has called you. Let that be your prayer, and it will be mine for you. Increase my faith. And later she walked me to the door with her arms raised above my head, and she prayed me out the door with the words of Psalm 121. I lift up mine eyes to the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. And he who watches over you will not fall asleep. The Lord himself watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand, so that the sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. It is he who shall keep you safe. He shall watch over your going out and your coming in from this time forth forevermore. And to this day, I feel her prayers accompanying me, watching over my going out and my coming in, sheltered by her faith. We need faith in these troubled times. We need to be reminded of the faith that is in us and the faith that accompanies us. And I'm grateful for the Bible study buddy who remembered me talking about Mrs. Eiffel some years ago and brought her back to mind. And in her doing that, she was doing exactly what St. Paul was doing for Timothy in his second letter to Timothy today. St. Paul ordained Timothy. He and Timothy traveled together and ministered together. Paul often sent Timothy on as his representative to the congregations that he founded. When Paul couldn't go, you know, he was often in prison. He had a deep affection and respect for the man he called my beloved son in the faith. Paul wrote this letter from prison in Rome, where he was soon to be martyred. He wants Timothy to carry on his ministry when he's no longer there to do it. And Timothy feels unequal to the task. In a word. Fear not, Paul tells him. I remember you constantly in my prayers, night and day. Recalling your tears, I long to see you, that I may be filled with joy. You are not alone. You can do this. I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that lived first, wrote Paul, in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and now I am sure lives in you. You are part of a living tradition of faith, Paul reminds him. The faith that lived in those who nurtured your faith now lives, I am sure, in you. Who nurtured your faith, saints? Whose faith raised you up and supports you still? The faith of great-souled people of faith, I am sure, lives in you. And consider that for others, we may be Lois and Eunice, the spiritual mothers and grandmothers, fathers and grandfathers, bearing that living faith to others. Rekindle the faith that is in you, Paul tells Timothy. Don't let it die out. Don't sit there passively. Don't take it for granted. Rekindle the faith that is in you. For God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and love and of self-discipline. Fan the flames. Join with me in suffering for the gospel, relying on the power of God. Not on you yourself, on the power of God, who saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his purpose and grace. It's not what any of us can do on our own. It's what God can do us together through faith. Ever try to start a fire with a single log? It doesn't go very well. But if you put 2 or 3 logs together, the wind of the Spirit can pull through them, and you can get a roaring blaze. We don't come to church to find God. God, saints, is everywhere. Of course God is here. We come here to find each other. We come here to help each other catch fire, fan the flames. The righteous live by their faith. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount of faith. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, Jesus tells the disciples, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it would obey you. Faith can do impossible things, absurd things, difficult things. Like Jesus described with that slave, that servant who works day and night, just as Jesus worked day and night. Because God's needs and the world's needs are ongoing. You can do difficult things. The smallest amount of faith will do a mustard seed's worth. You know, there's no more or less with faith. It's like being more or less pregnant. A little bit of pregnant is all it takes. It'll do. All right? There's 2 ways of saying if in Greek. One is if as a condition contrary to fact, like if I were you and I'm not, or if as in if Christ is Lord and he is, and that's what Jesus says here. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, and you do, then you have enough faith. Because faith is not something we accumulate. It's not the result of effort or reward. Faith is the point of trust and surrender between us and God. Lord, increase my faith means, Lord, increase my ability to trust you, to surrender to you, Open wide the connection between us. And allow your love to flow to me so it can flow through me. Allow it to flow to us so it can flow through us. The world needs people of faith, saints. It's an opening. It's not an effort. It's an opening. But when we most need faith, faith can feel very hard to come by, right? The prophet Habakkuk is up to his eyes in the human struggle this morning with evil in the world and the apparent silence of God. You've been there. I've been there. Sometimes collectively we are there. There's destruction. There's violence. There's strife. There's contention. Habakkuk is saying the law becomes slack. Justice never prevails. The wicked surround the righteous and judgment comes forth perverted. And Habakkuk takes his complaint to God. How long shall I cry to you for help and you will not listen? Or cry to you violence and you will not save? As he rails at God, something surprising happens. Having laid it all out before God, he discovers that he's laid it all down. Having trusted God with the truth, he finds he has opened the way, cleared the way between them, and the static is gone from the line. He finds himself reconnected to God and his faith, and he steps out in faith, in trust, to see what God will answer. I will stand at my watchpost and station myself on the rampart, and I will keep watch to see what he will say to me and what he will answer concerning my complaint. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision. Make it plain on tablets so that a runner without stopping can read it. For there is still a vision for the appointed time. It speaks of the end and does not lie. If it seems to tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. Look at the proud, bloated with self-importance, but soul empty. The righteous, through steady and loyal believing, live by their faith. I know the one in whom I put my trust, Paul wrote to Timothy right before he dies. I know the one in whom I have put my trust, and I am sure that he is able to guard until that day what I have entrusted to him. These are readings from tumultuous times, and they speak to us in our tumultuous times. As we gather on this last Sunday of creation season, confronted by the world as it is, not as we might have wished it were, we are called to be stewards of this splendor, stewards of this faith, stewards of this love. The Lord is willing to increase our faith if only we will give God more of ourselves. We don't need more God, we need to give God more of us. If we rekindle the gift we've already been given, how do you know you have it? You're in here. Do you realize where else you could be? I was sitting on a bench outside in the sun. I know where else you could be. You're here. Rekindle the gift we've already been given. Fan the flames. God, set our hearts on fire with love for thee, that we may do impossible things in your company and in your name. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Amen.